Yeah. So right now, just like our Governor Tate Reeves said, we're looking at an indeterminate amount of time that this water will be in this condition. He said it's indefinite, that it's unsafe to drink. And so, yes, while we may have full water pressure, I know some people are still getting rashes from the water. You can't brush your teeth with it. They're saying if you shower, make sure you keep your mouth closed. So even though it's not really usable, people still have to pay for it every month, and people are just not confident in using it.
And can you just take us back to how it all began? How did this treatment plant fail?
Right. So one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about Jackson, that people from Mississippi and Jackson will tell you, is that we're no stranger to boil water notices. The issues of Jackson water have been going on for decades. And just a couple of weeks ago, we had a lot of rain for an entire week, which caused a lot of areas in Jackson to flood. And for whatever reason, our water plant is built in a flood zone. And so when that water plant flooded, it really decreased the pressure and just quick pressure in some parts of the city. And so now that they've kind of gotten that fixed, the water has receded. We've been on a boil water notice for over a month now. And some people's water still has a foul smell. Some people's water is still slightly discolored. We just simply still can't use it. This has been something going on and on for years here in Jackson.
Yeah, I want to know, as the water stopped flowing, and of course it's back now, but not consumable, what are people doing to get drinking water, and how are they coping with other basic things, living life, and how are small businesses, in fact, being able to cope with cafes, restaurants requiring clean drinking
Right.
water?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, the city, different groups like the Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition, our advocacy team, we're trying our best to get our hands on as many pallets of bottled water as we can, distribute it to the community and allow it to be picked up. But I'm not sure how sustainable that is. People continuously having to buy bottled water and get their hands on jugs. I know many businesses across Jackson are really frustrated because even though you're already paying a water bill, buying extra water or bringing in tanks or bringing in porta potties and different things like that are an extreme added expense, especially when business is down in our Jackson restaurants and businesses lately. So it's a really tough financial time for business owners, but also for just our residents who have to, go out and buy water or go out into these distribution sites. It adds on a whole extra layer of you have to do, even though you're still already paying for the water that runs out of your faucet. And so we're trying our best to impact as many people, especially the vulnerable populations in Jackson. But this is simply not sustainable. And it's ridiculous that this is happening in the United States of America in 2022.
Yeah, so how would you describe the manner in which local and state authorities are handling this issue at the moment?
I believe that, so right now, I guess the city and the state are trying to work better together in order to, actually address this issue. But I believe that our state government could have done a lot more, a lot sooner. Jackson mayors in the past and ours now have been sending in the proposals, have been requesting the money. But our state government and state legislature just has not always allocated it towards our city. So I think that they both could definitely do a better job of working together. And specifically, our state government and legislature could do a much better job of actually giving Jackson the water that it needs and deserves.
And tell us how community groups like yourselves have been filling the gaps in public support. We're also seeing pictures of even prison inmates being deployed to help distribute water.
Right. And so there are a lot of distribution sites across Jackson where people can come and pick up a case or two of water per car. But see, what our group specifically does, we set up a hotline. And so that hotline is where the elderly, disabled, or those who don't have transportation can call, get their name on a list. And then we dispatch mostly college students, but a lot of other volunteers to go to our storage unit where we're trying to keep as much water as we can and then go distribute it to those vulnerable populations. And so everybody around here is really trying to do their part.
Maisie, Jackson has a large African-American majority, and you've suggested that race has been a factor in terms of how much money is spent on infrastructure in Jackson.
Right. Yeah. So what you're seeing in Jackson is it's a lot like what you saw in Flint, Michigan. is what you're going to continue to see in majority Black urban cities across the United States of America, where infrastructure is not maintained, where the proper monies are not allocated to these causes. And so right now in America, what we're facing is a huge environmental injustice and environmental racism. We're working and we're trying, but what you're seeing in Jackson is not going to be unique to Jackson in the coming years.
And has this been taken up at a federal level, much higher?
Yeah. So President Joe Biden, he spoke with our mayor. We had the EPA administrator come down, and I even got a chance to speak with him with other college students yesterday. So we're finally getting some federal intervention in this issue, and hopefully the pressure from the federal government will, force the hands of our state leaders to actually help us.
Okay, Maisie, we really wish you well with all the work that you are doing, and we hope that the conditions do improve in Jackson. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.